Assalamualaikum and good greetings. How are all of you doing? Hopefully fine. It has been quite some time since my last reaction video, and this will be a video by Liss Choice titled Things You Didn't Know Muslims Invented. So without further ado, let's watch.
Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum. How are you all doing? I hope that everybody is doing fine. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about Muslim scholars and scientists. Did you know that there are a lot of inventions invented by Muslims in history that we are still using today? But unfortunately, those Muslim scholars are not very well known, especially in the Western world. Like for example, everybody knows here about Albert Einstein, Leonardo da Vinci and Isaac Newton, because we also got this information when we are going to school. But they are never teaching us about the Islamic Golden Age and about all the inventions that are made in that time. And for me, this was so interesting when I discovered this information. I watched a lot of videos about history and about Muslim scholars from the Islamic Golden Age. So I thought it would be a nice idea to make a video about this subject, because I hope that more and more people will know about this information, especially here where I'm living in Europe, because I have never heard about them, and I'm sure that I am not the only one. Well, they make such a big difference in this world. What we have.
So I'm actually curious as to, for those who grow up in Europe or in the US, because when we learn history, right, normally it is localized from local perspective or lens, including us here in Malaysia, right? So we have a lens and worldview of looking how, meaning that this dictate how we look history, including of our region and also the world. So Dark Ages, we know Dark Ages, and of course the term Dark Ages is referring from the lens of Western civilization, because in that time in the West it is the Dark Ages, but at the same time elsewhere in the world there are golden ages for some other civilization, right? So it's all a matter of perspective. So I'm wondering whether for those who are from the West, when they learn history, the world history, are they at least aware that during the Dark Ages there are somewhere else where another civilization is thriving, or it is just not mentioned and you do not even realize that there are civilization or other civilization that are thriving at that particular moment? Just curious.
I've learned at school is that in the Western world, the medieval times, the Middle Ages, were known as a period of darkness in the history of science, and that was mostly true in the Western world. But at the south and east of the Mediterranean Sea, it was the Islamic Golden Age. In that time, Muslims made amazing advances in science, and many of these discoveries have shaped our modern world, like for example, cataract surgery and algebra. In that time, the mission to understand the world was for religious and scientific reasons. In that time, the Islamic Empire was very powerful, and it included nationalities from all different countries together. And in that way, they gained a lot of knowledge from all different countries. All those people were learning, translating, and exchanging ideas together. One of the most famous Muslim scholars is Harismi. He was the father of algebra and the creator of algorithm. He was a mathematician and astronomer, and he introduced Hindu-Arabic numerals into European mathematics. What is the basic of the numbers that we use today? And the algorithm, obviously we are using it now, especially also at social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube. And the algorithm is very, very important for many things nowadays. Ibn Sina is the father of modern medicine. His work was mainly about the prevention of diseases, and his book, The Canon of Medicine, was also used in Europe as a standard medical textbook. So even in the medical world here in Europe, we were using, and we are still using, a lot of the information that we got from Ibn Sina. Also, the camera is invented by a Muslim, Hassan ibn al-Hitham. He was a pioneering scientific thinker, mathematician, astronomer, and physicist. He was also known as Al-Hassan. He made major breakthroughs in understanding optics, vision, and light. He invented that when you are in a dark room and the light is coming from a tiny hole, it is projecting a picture of the outside world inside the dark room on the dark wall. And that is similar to how we see. Through his book of optics, what is translated also in Latin, he influenced a lot of European scholars, and he invented the camera obscura, also known as the pinhole camera. He is the father of modern optics, so he made it actually possible that I'm filming this video right now, and he made it also possible that we can make a selfie nowadays. Also, the first human flight was done by a Muslim inventor, Abbas ibn Firnas. For 23 years he studied the nature of flight, and eventually, when he was 70 years old, he made a pair of wings out of silk, wood and actual feathers. He jumped off a cliff and he made the first human flight. So the airplanes that we use today are based on the research of Abbas ibn Firnas. The design of the first flying machine of Abbas ibn Firnas was a great inspiration for Leonardo da Vinci hundreds of years later, without a doubt. Another invention is chemistry by a Muslim polymath. His name is Jabir ibn Hayyan. He is the father of chemistry. He was the one to introduce practical experiment in chemistry. And he invented several chemical processes that are still used in modern chemistry. For example, distillation, evaporation, and crystallization. He was the first to use manganese dioxide for making glass, and aqua regia to dissolve gold, what is also still used today. And other practical applications in chemistry, like the development of making steel, dyeing of cloth, tanning leather, rust prevention, waterproofing, and a lot more. He left over 100 books, and some of them were translated also in European languages. It is stated that the development of chemistry in Europe can be traced back directly to Jabir ibn Hayyan. And another inventor and mechanical engineer who has changed the world was Al-Jazari. He is the father of robotics and mechanic science. He is famous for building clocks and water racing machines. One of his most famous inventions was the brilliant elephant clock. But he also designed mechanical devices, like the crankshafts using robotics, and this invention we are still using now in modern cars. Also, Al-Jazari wrote a book, the Book of Knowledge of Ingenious Mechanical Devices. The ideas of Al-Jazari definitely helped by the development of mechanical technology today. And another invention done by Muslims in that time is surgery. Al-Zahrawi, he was the father of surgery. He invented catgut, what is used for internal stitches. And I hear you thinking, is catgut made from cats? But despite the name, it is not made from cats, it is made from other animals. And Al-Zahrawi was famous for describing more than 200 surgical instruments and writing a 30-volume encyclopedia about surgery and medicine. His surgical and medical instruments are still used in the hospital nowadays. I also hear that he was influenced by the treatment of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and used them to treat people. There are many treatments where Al-Zahrawi came up with, like C-sections and cataract surgeries. Can you imagine how important the inventions of Al-Zahrawi are even nowadays? And not all the Muslim scholars were male. There were also female Muslim scientists and scholars. For example, Maryam al-Hajiliya, also known as Al-Astrolabiya. She was a 10th century Muslim astronomer, and she was the maker of astrolabes, a medieval device that was the GPS in that time. Muslims used the astrolabe in that time to find the direction of the Qibla, to pray at times, and determine starting days for Ramadan and Eid. So basically you can say that an astrolabe is an old-fashioned smartphone. And the first university was founded by a Muslim woman, Fatima al-Fihri. Fatima al-Fihri founded the first university in history of mankind, and that is the University Al-Qayrawiyyin in Fez in Morocco. Al-Qayrawiyyin predates Cambridge and Oxford by 300 years. It is considered the most ancient university in the
Now that timeline is of course back to the fact that European rise from the Dark Ages during the fall of the Islamic civilization, basically, right? So obviously from the Dark Ages to the peak, but that's also, I'm not sure whether that's impressive or not, but it is that the rise is, it take like 300 400 years. But I think last time I see some people chart the rise and fall of civilization. That's roughly the time period, right? 3 to 5 600 years to rise to the peak, and then it fall back, and then the other civilization comes back up. Oops.
The world, and it is still operating today. So we can say that Fatima al-Fihri paved the way for modern universities. I have made a series of these Muslim scholars also on my TikTok account. I saw that a lot of people are interested in this subject, and I think it's important to spread this message also to the rest of the world, to let everybody know about the Muslim Golden Age and about the things that Muslims actually invented in that time. During my trip in...
So that is interesting. After this I would see her TikTok. I'm not sure what is the link, but I will find out, because TikTok normally is for shorter videos, right? I think, but it's also can have up to 10 minutes, so this kind of video can fit into TikTok. But I'm interested to see the format, the length, etc. because the audience of TikTok normally have different it is different demography, I think, right? Because normally the video there is very short and very focused on a specific, meaning it just goes straight into the point, if even, you know, the video are delivering any point, because normally it's just I don't know, I will not discuss about TikTok in this video, but I will be checking that out and see how she packed the information in the video format, as well as the you know, the response there.
In Istanbul, I went also to a museum of history of science and technology in Islam. They had a great collection of all the inventions, and it was so interesting to see that with your own eyes and to read a lot of information about them. They even play also videos on television screens to explain everything about those inventions and about the Muslim scholars. So I recommend everybody to go to that museum and to check it out. Is
it in Istanbul? She mentioned just now. Because last time I went to Istanbul, I did go to the museum, the Al-Fatih Museum. I don't remember the name. It's 1453, is it? I mean the year of, you know, the opening of Constantinople by Muhammad Al-Fatih. That museum I went to, but the science museum I was not aware of.
It's in the center of Istanbul. I will write down below in the description box the address of this museum if you are interested to visit that museum as well, if you are there by any chance. Of course, there is a lot to tell more about these Muslim scholars and scientists, but then this video would be way too long. And of course, there are more Muslim scholars and scientists that I didn't talk about in this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any further information about history and science in Islam. I'm very interested to read about that, so please let me know. I hope that you enjoyed to watch this video and that you find it as interesting as I do. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and to like this video if you didn't do that yet. And I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos.
Okay, so that's the video. So it is interesting when I see videos by Revert that, you know, focus on topics like this. Yeah, so that's my direct reaction of watching the video. This triggers something that I might want to just share in terms of how I view this kind of information and topic to be spread out to the audience in the West, as well as to the Muslim world, because I think it serves different purpose. And yeah, because I'm not sure how long this video is currently, but I don't think people watch that long of a video. So what I think is the reaction video is until this point, and we'll end this shortly. But I will make a separate video of, you know, not a direct reaction of this video, but inspired by this video, how do I view the topic of the golden ages of Islamic civilization, the Islamic contribution to science and technology, the scholars and the scientists, etc. Right? How is it important, those information, to the Western that is perhaps not well aware of those information, and how does it fit to the Muslim Ummah? So that will be the next video, inshallah. Until then, thank you for watching. See you next time.